Today, we're taking a look at 3 different Wi-Fi 6E routers to help you understand the terminology and to see if you really need that $500 router, or if a lower level 6E router would work for you. Before we get started, I'm excited to announce that we are giving away the ASUS AXE11000 gaming router showing in this video, as well as an ALFA Wi-Fi 6E USB adapter for your PC and your laptop, absolutely free. That's right, see the description down below for the contest entry rules and deadlines, and be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video, as these are both one of the entry requirements. So starting off with the budget-friendly TP-Link AXE7500. But wait, to avoid getting confused halfway through the video, what is Wi-Fi 6E? Wi-Fi 6E is the latest version of the Wi-Fi standard. It is an extension of the previous Wi-Fi 6 standard and adds support to the newly available 6 GHz frequency band. The 6 GHz frequency band is much less congested than the previously available frequency bands and provides additional bandwidth for Wi-Fi devices and faster transmit speed. Not only can Wi-Fi 6E routers offer faster speeds, but are more reliable connections and lower latency compared to previous Wi-Fi standards. In addition to the new frequency band, the Wi-Fi 6E routers still include the features from the Wi-Fi 6 standard, such as orthogonal frequency division multiple access and multi-user, multi-input, multi-output technologies. Now, these features allow for a more efficient use of the available bandwidth and can support more simultaneous devices on a network, which is great if a lot of people in your home are on a network all at once. It is important to note that as the frequency goes up, range drops. So 6 GHz signal may not permeate your entire home. But don't worry, because the 6E routers will still broadcast in the 2.4 and the 5 GHz, and those bands will reach further. Now, it is not the same thing as Wi-Fi 6, and a lot of you know this, but for those of you who are looking to buy a router for the first time in years, Wi-Fi 6 routers can look just as nice as the 6E, and they can have just as many antennas, but only the 6E routers are capable of providing the 6 GHz signal. So now you might be wondering, what are the differences in available Wi-Fi 6E routers? So here at Rokland, we actually just did some speed testing with the ALFA Wi-Fi 6E USB adapter using 3 different tiers of the Wi-Fi 6 routers. So when you look at a router, you can get all these numbers and things thrown at you, so it can get pretty confusing. Believe it or not, these numbers actually mean something, and it's pretty simple to understand. So using this as an example, this is a Wi-Fi 6E router that supports speeds of up to 5.4 gigabytes or 5400 megabytes. It is a 2x2 multi-user, multi-input, multi-output router and is designed for small to medium-sized homes. These 6600s speeds of up to 6.6 gigabytes, 4x4 multi-use, multi-input, multi-output router, and designed for larger homes and small offices. 7800, 7.8 gigabytes with a 5 gigabyte WAN port and is designed for high-end home or small office use. You guys get the idea, so on and so on. Now, we used the 5400, 6600, and the 11000. So how exactly do router manufacturers come up with these speeds? A Wi-Fi 6E router calculates its speed by several different factors, including the number of spatial streams it can support, the width of the channel, and the modulation scheme used. But to get the max speed, they add these numbers from each band: the 2.4, the 5, and the 6. So for example, the router you're seeing here on the screen, the 5400, it does 600 on 2.4, or 2400 megabytes on 5, and 24 on 6 gigahertz. Since you can't use all 3 bands at once, your speeds won't really be 5400, and these speeds are also your bit rate, or the connection speed to the router. Now, the actual speeds you get from your ISP will generally be a lot lower, and it also has to do a lot with how fast your home internet or your business internet is. Okay, so how do you decide which Wi-Fi 6E router is good for you? There's multiple factors to look at, including what the router will be used for and, of course, your budget. If it's just you and maybe another person and you're in a smaller home or apartment, a 5400 router is going to be more than fine. If it's you and a big family with kids and everyone has their own TV and tablet and phone and multiple people are streaming video games or gaming at the same time, you probably want a router with a lot of spatial streams and higher max speed, like the AXE11000. If you have a budget but you still have a lot of users, then maybe something like a 7800 might be good for you. Spatial streams and total max speeds aren't all that matters either. See, today's routers have processors and memory inside, kind of like how computers do. Check the Raptor GT11000 for an example. It's got a 1.8 gigahertz quad-core processor, and it's got 256 megabytes of NAND flash memory and 1 GB of DDR3 SD RAM. Now, a more powerful processor and high memory can help a Wi-Fi router perform better by improving network response times, managing network traffic more efficiently, and providing resources to handle the demands of a large number of devices and data-intensive applications. So in layman's terms, a fast processor and memory can impact speeds just as much as a standard and the frequency. Now, that being said, super high-end routers will be more appealing to gamers or other task-intensive users. But for browsing and checking your email, don't get too caught up in the memory or the processor. Can your devices even benefit from 6 GHz? So keep in mind, guys, that your device has to be compatible with the 6 GHz frequency, and most devices are not. So I recommend looking at the ALFA Wi-Fi 6E USB adapter. This will make your laptop or your PC at home compatible to use the 6 GHz frequency. So now let's take a look at how we were able to compare these Wi-Fi 6E routers. Now, comparing the TP-Link 5400 to the ASUS 11000, it's a pretty big gap here. Let's just go over some of these specs here. The TP-Link would be great for everyday use. You're not breaking the bank here, but you are unlocking the 6 GHz potential. You're not going to be streaming, running multiple games like crazy here. So pretty standard similarities across the board. But if you do want to take it up a notch, the AXE6600, you will start to see a noticeable difference in your speeds. Now, the range between these two are pretty similar, 2,700 to 2,500 square feet. Now, of course, that can vary depending on your house and what your current situation is, but you do see a big jump when you go to the 11,000 with the 5,500 square feet. Now, as far as processing power goes, almost identical across the board for each one with 1.8 quad-core processors, except the TP-Link that has a 1.7 gigahertz. But something that will stand out dramatically will be the memory. And for the 11,000, you have 256 megabytes of NAND flash and 1 gigabyte of DDR3 SD RAM. Now, with something like this would be more suited for the gamer, someone who likes to stream multiple games or multiple streaming services at once, or maybe you guys have multiple people streaming different games in different rooms. Now, this would also be for a large household or a small businesses, maybe even a video production firm. So the best router for you will be depending on your needs. If the AXE 11000 is too much, you're not a small business, you don't have a huge house with a lot of users, you're not a huge streamer or a huge gamer, then maybe you don't need that and you don't have to spend $500 to $700 on a router like that. You could probably get away with something like the 6600. Now, that would kind of be like the best of both worlds, right? Where you're not really breaking the bank here to get that 6 gigahertz, but at the same time, you're not missing out on the capabilities of these higher end routers. Now, guys, I do hope that this video helps you out. If you do have any questions or concerns, drop it down in the comment section. If you've tested out some routers and you're experiencing some other situation that we're seeing, or you want to share what you guys are seeing, drop down in the comment section. We'll get back to you. We'd love to hear your feedback. Now, with that being said, guys, check the links in the description. We do have some other videos as well of testing out the router, so check those out if you guys wish. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.